Welcome to Gone Phishing, a show diving into cybersecurity threats that surround our highly connected lives. Every human is different. Every person has unique vulnerabilities that expose them to potentially successful social engineering. On this show, we'll discuss human vulnerability and how it relates to unique individuals. I'm Connor Swalm, CEO of FinSecurity, and welcome to Gone Phishing. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gone Phishing. I'm your host, Connor, CEO at Fin, and I am joined once again by the awesome Tera, Rummer, Director of Community and Events at ImmyBot. Tera, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Connor?
Doing amazing. We are recording in the new year. How's the new year treating you?
We're 4 days in, so pretty good. Still avoiding the gym, but is what it is.
Well, 3 days into the work year, I'll put it that way.
Oh, yeah. This has been a really welcome break for me because I've been working on audits. I don't know if you've ever had to audit literally anything. I am basically banging my head against the wall most days.
I always say that I like math, and the people are like, oh, you must love working on spreadsheets. I was like, no, it is the worst thing in the world to me. It is boring. It is repetitive. I hate it. Let me go do anything. I will go, anything. Pick up dog crap for other people before I would like
to. Spreadsheets.
I'd rather do anything than spreadsheets. Just repetitive things I don't enjoy.
The amount of pivot tables I'm using right now are ridiculous.
It is insane.
It's silly.
We had you on the podcast talking about Imposter Syndrome before.
Yeah.
That was fun. A lot of people go through that, by the way. If you're listening and you think you're the only one, it's not the case. Everyone has Imposter Syndrome, even if they don't admit it. And today we're talking about managing adult ADD. So I have a question. You said you were recently diagnosed with ADHD. Looking back, what were the signs that you feel like you missed? Or you kind of knew of, but you ignored that you had adult ADD or ADHD and didn't go get diagnosed with it?
Have you ever had a conversation with me? No.
I have.
I think your words were, well, that's not really surprising when I told you. So,
yeah,
my doctor, it's really funny. I've always been super high performing and, I was that good kid growing up. I made all good grades and I did everything I needed to do. But I found out from my doctor that it was actually super underdiagnosed when I was growing up. And then it was overdiagnosed. So he wasn't surprised when I went in at 30 and was like, hey, my friend is a nurse and she thinks I have ADD. What do you think? He's like, you didn't know? Like, he had no idea. I had moved to Louisiana, so this is a different doctor than who I grew up with. And he's like, absolutely. You know how you tell stories, but then you get sidetracked by literally anything and you'll tell about 7 other stories in the process of getting back to your point or just not getting back to your point at all. He's like, that's a pretty big red flag that you would have. So I always thought ADHD would be hyperactivity or any things like that. I didn't know it also came in a form of inattentiveness. So someone can be talking to me and I can be responding, but I will literally hear nothing they say unless I am looking them directly in the eye. And that's actually taken a lot for my husband to realize because he'll have full-on conversations with me. And he's like, do you know what I just said? I'm like, no. Not one word. I'm sorry. What was that? Yeah. So my brain's just a little everywhere all the time. It's really what it is. And apparently I missed that for 30 years of my life.
Well, at least now you know.
Yeah. And I try to be cognizant of it and realize not everybody thinks like I do. So they're probably not following the 7 stories I'm telling.
How has that changed your life? Do you find yourself, I guess, acting different now that you're aware that you have ADD or that you have this tendency to fragment off into 1,000 directions? Do you find you catching yourself? How has it changed your life?
So, yeah, I try to catch myself and I let everybody know I'm pretty honest about it. This is how my brain works. If you notice me going on a tangent or on, I'm somewhere in left field while we're, talking about something completely different, let me know. Because I get really excited. I like sharing experience with people. So that's always going to overshadow everything. And I'll just start telling all of the stories. But with work specifically, I am medicated. And it was almost life-changing for me because I didn't realize people didn't struggle the way I did to get specific things done. And I have a lot of I think I said I have a bunch of little quirks or little things that I do to keep myself kind of in line, because being, a VP of operations, you're over a lot of things and a lot of things are moving at once. And I find that I can get very overwhelmed very easily because of the way my brain works and going, okay, I've got 72 tasks. I'm going to do them all at once, instead of going, okay, wait, let's take a step back and prioritize. And, I can't remember the name of the matrix, but I use that urgency priority matrix a lot of, okay, what can I hand to somebody else? Let's be realistic with my time. So yeah, I've implemented a lot of little things in my daily life to really help, I guess.
Have you noticed it changing either since you've been diagnosed or as you've gotten older? How is your ADHD?
My brain's still everywhere.
Still everywhere?
Still everywhere. Yeah, because I think a lot of people assume that you get medicated, they're like, oh, it's going to fix it. And it's like, no, that's not, it helps, but you have to take the medicine, and then you also have to do the, improve your situation. So with work, my hand is kind of in everything, as is a lot of people in small business, right? So, one day I can be working on accounting and auditing things, and the next I can be needing to do something with marketing, or name whatever it is. It's just you wear a whole bunch of hats. So just personally, what I've done, somebody else adopted this too recently. I have everything in my Outlook calendar. Everything has to be written down. I don't use lists anymore because those didn't really work for me. But I have everything color coded based on how my brain has to function in that time. So if it's an accounting or invoicing thing, it's green, or if it's, working on something ImmyBot, it's purple. And I give myself time between those to let my brain kind of readjust to what I need to do next. Because if I don't, I can go and spend 7 hours working on something I probably shouldn't have been working on. It's like, oh, this thing sounds really interesting to me. Let me go do that.
Then you catch yourself at the end of the day, and you're like, what did I
do? Literally, that was happening a lot before I put in these little tricks, I guess.
Do you find that there's any superpowers or any benefit to being able to, I guess, juggle those 100 thoughts at a time? Is there any positive to the way you think?
So I think there is, because it's made me more like a problem solver. And that can be a good and a bad thing, because when you're thinking about all of these different things at once, you're trying to figure out, or at least I am, how they work together or how they can potentially work together. So I consistently, with my team members, they'll come in and they'll want to talk to me, and I'll stop them at the door and go, all right, what brain do you need me in? Do you need me to solve your problem, or do you need to just talk? Because I'm immediately going to go to solve your problem, because I know of all these other things that could potentially play into it. So I think that's kind of a superpower, in that you can critically think. And if it's something especially you're interested in, I'll spend all day doing something I'm fully invested in. So yeah, I think that's a superpower. Heightened excitement, maybe I guess you could call it, for something.
You definitely have more energy than most people I've met. And that's if I have a day where I'm just way low energy, didn't sleep well or whatever, it's just everyone can tell, because it's I don't want to be here. I'm exhausted. I would just much rather be napping. But I don't think I've ever seen you have anything less than 120% of the average person's energy, if I'm being honest.
I like to do things, and I like people. It's just who I am.
Yeah. Other than making sure you're being real attentive to the conversations you're having, is there any other way this has impacted your work and how you work with other people?
So yeah, I found that if it is something that doesn't interest me, say my auditing I'm doing right now, thank God I'm hiring a finance person, it will take me a lot longer. And somebody told me a long time ago, he's like, people naturally underestimate the things they can do in a short amount of time. So I was doing that and I was like, oh yeah, I'll have this done in 2 days. And it'd be like, a week later, I'm still doing it. So something I've actually implemented for myself that I think is, it takes people by surprise because a lot of people, I guess, haven't heard of it, is called body doubling. So it's basically time allocated for a temporary like accountability partner. Because when I'm doing those frustrating things or those things I hate doing and I'm going, oh my God, this thing is just taking me entirely too long, I'll set up a meeting with, it can be, I've done it with people from other companies. I've done it with people in my peer group. I've done it with people in my company where we're literally on a call, just like you and I are right now. But we both go into it with one thing we want to get done in that 90 minutes. And it's like, okay, I am making no headway on this. What are you going to get done in 90 minutes? And we'll write it down when we go in. And literally, we don't even talk really when we're in there, except if one of us has a question or if we want to bounce an idea off the other person, until we take like a little break at 30 minutes and an hour and go, okay, have you made progress? Or are you now suddenly in your email answering all those emails that are sitting there that keep popping up? So that's been something that I think has been super helpful. And it's actually pretty funny. Somebody saw it. It's actually in my scheduling link. It said body doubling session. And somebody saw it recently from another vendor and was like, I literally thought I was on like a trainer's website and was like, wait, body doubling session? Like, am I going to lift weights all of a sudden? I was like, read the description.
Have you ever seen the movie What About Wednesday?
No.
It's this sci-fi movie about this dystopian future where you can only have one kid at a time, and it's like a mandated thing. And I won't ruin it, but basically it's like there are many copies of this person. And I just imagine a world where you have a secret twin you've told nobody about, and it's just like
that'd be amazing,
like, right?
I don't know if it's amazing in the movie, but that sounds amazing.
People ask, I'm a triplet, so people ask that all the time. I'm like, we don't look enough alike, and we are so vastly different people that it would not work. I would not be able to replace me with any of my brothers, and vice versa.
So you're a triplet with brothers?
2 brothers, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I have twin brothers, and they look nothing alike, in my opinion. Apparently everyone else thinks they do, and they act nothing alike. So they definitely can't replace each other. Like, their personalities are so different.
We act nothing alike as well. And I told this to my team the other day. I found out there are fraternal, identical, and then there is a third type of twin called a polar body twin.
What is that? Now we're down a rabbit hole.
Now we're down a rabbit. Yeah, ADHD. Maybe we shouldn't have talked about ADHD today. One thing I do want to make sure for the benefit of everyone listening, what are some ways that you consciously deal with this, whether it's managing your symptoms or just, I find that sometimes just being aware that you have a tendency to do certain things is really powerful. What are some ways you manage and deal with this?
So I think awareness, and then not everything that, because you can Google it, you can read books on it. Not everything's going to work for everybody, right? So I know for myself, using my calendar works for me. Using my body doubling works for me. I also am a big fan of using timers because I would go down a rabbit hole or, I would realize like our service manager would be like, did you eat lunch today? And I'd be like, no, I didn't eat breakfast either. And like just forgetting to do basic things. So I actually set like 60 or 90 minute timers depending on what I'm doing. A big thing for me is also keeping my spaces organized. So there are some people who love clutter and love living in chaos. You'll notice behind me, there's really not any. Is that you? Do you like clutter and chaos?
No, I like order, but sometimes I exist in between. I was going to mention, I do see your sequins hat that I've always seen you wear behind you. Yeah.
There's a few. There's one hanging right here too. But
you have one.
Oh, I have 5. I've made 5. I'm working on a 6th one right now.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I have to keep everything clean. Like there's nothing on my desk because what will end up happening is I'll be like, oh, I can start cleaning that. And just random things that don't need to be happening, right? Same thing happens with my email. If I see someone's email and they have like thousands of unread messages or just thousands of messages in there, I will panic. Yeah. Mine has 20 and they're all read. And if I have to do something with them, that's the only reason they're still there. So those are things that have kind of helped me get it under control, I would say. But we all still have our squirrel moments where, I don't have ducks in a row. I have squirrels at a rave is what I say. And just kind of deal with it as it comes.
Squirrels at a rave. That'd be a good title for a book.
That's going to be my autobiography.
For folks who want to connect with you or learn a little bit more about you or ImmyBot, how would you suggest they reach out and do that?
So they can do that on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on there, or they can email me at trummer@immy.bot. So pretty easy to find. And I'm at a lot of conferences, so come say hi. I'm in a glitter hat, typically.
Like the one right behind you over your left shoulder.
Yep.
Awesome. Any last words of advice for anyone listening or watching?
If anyone wants to talk to me about it, I'm super open about it, and I'm happy to be a resource.
Awesome. For folks listening or watching, we'll have links to Tera's LinkedIn and also ImmyBot in the show notes for you. Thanks so much for watching, Tera. Thanks for being here. It was a blast chatting with you again, and hopefully we will be chatting soon.
Yeah, of course. Bye.
Awesome. See you next time. Thanks so much for tuning in to Gone Phishing. If you want to find out more about high-quality security awareness training campaigns, how to launch them in ways that actually engage employees to change their habits, then check us out, FinSecurity, at finsec.io. That's PHINSEC.io. Or click all of the wonderful links in our show notes. Thanks for fishing with me today, and we'll see you next time.